It's wisdom. Welcome back to a special edition of T3. I'm your host, Mr. U. In the house with us are 3/4 of the Cinco Squad. In the house for a live draft preview. We're excited about this. Jay Sawyer's in the house. Little Mikey is in the house. Trey Day's in the house. And another gentleman by the name of Jamie from the Islands Mine is coming to join us real soon, man. We're excited about him being in the house, man. But guys, what's been going on with you, man? Talk to me about what's been going on with your lives since the last time we talked, man. What's been happening?
Just upward mobility, still trying to grow the podcast. Of course, have fun. At the end of the day, the purpose of doing this is to have fun. I mean, if this becomes a career, that's great, but being able to kick with our bros every week, a couple times a week, is usually fun. So, I mean, we've been doing more. Me and Mike did a wrestling show for WrestleMania preview the other week.
I missed that.
Doing a lot of golf content. John's
golf?
been up. Yes, John's been doing some golf content.
Man's on another level. I don't even know you, man.
Yeah, so we're amping.
You know, Michigan had to take the year off for us, so I had to figure out something.
But we went to golf. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Michigan went golfing, and we went with them.
Wow. All right.
Well, I mean, two of the three of us had teams become champions. Yeah. Some of us can't seem to win ever.
Works out for Giants fans.
What team are you referring to, sir? Just so I can know what I should limit with you, or
let's see. The Yankees lost the World Series, so that happened, and then Notre Dame lost the national championship game. So,
and meanwhile, I'm a Dodgers fan, so I beat his Yankees, and I'm an Ohio State fan, so I beat his Fighting Irish. So I'm kind of on Mike's bad list right now.
You're lucky you got on the wrestling show.
How do you guys even coexist?
We figure it out.
Big J.
Yeah,
Okay, you got to connect the stream first, and if we can bring in, all we see is darkness.
Yes. You think darkness is your ally?
Oh. I love that quote.
But other than that, it's just been, waiting. It was waiting for the Giant season to start. Then it immediately ended. So just wait for that to happen. And now we wait to see what happens on Thursday.
I had high hopes, even though there was just that quarterback situation was rough. I'm like, you expect
what was so bad about the quarterback situation? What exactly was really the problem? Like, what happened that could have possibly been the worst case scenario?
You let Saquon.
The quarterback.
The worst case scenario, we'd have no quarterbacks. That'd be the worst case scenario. That almost happened. We had 0 on the roster. They were all either hurt or
that deal.
Yeah,
quarterback deal.
Yeah,
he can running the ball, and he can pass.
Boom
miles.
Is that the worst case scenario that we were talking about? Yeah. Just having locked individual on the roster and both of them get hurt.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll run Neighbors in the Wildcat, and he can play receiver, running back, quarterback, all the offensive line positions. Just let Malik Neighbors just do everything.
The season was a grind as a fan. Not gonna lie, even though the Eagles are Super Bowl champ, I mean it was a grind. It felt like I was done. I checked out after the Super Bowl. I don't even have any merch yet. I'll be honest with you. I don't even have any merch from the Super Bowl yet.
What type of fan doesn't have merch yet?
You
don't want your Ohio State merch.
That's a good question.
GoFundMe page.
I'm trying to find out where you guys booked your Goliaths from. We got Goliaths from both sides of the line. Where are they still available for sale? I mean,
right? Can we have some of your massive individuals on your lines?
Can we get some of those from somewhere? Can we buy some? I mean,
signing Mekhi.
We could have honestly signed Mekhi back
to Los Angeles. He went to Los Angeles. Mekhi Becton went to Los Angeles. He was like kind of the X factor in the whole line right there this year. 6'9", 330 pounds. Like
boys are gigantic. I mean,
1,800 pounds in weight it's the heaviest Super Bowl line ever. Is 1,800 pounds in weight total.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's wild.
And I think they had it by like at least like 200-300 pounds.
Yeah.
Man, they just gave the Chiefs nightmares, man. I don't know what to do with that, but yeah. Congrats, brother. You guys won it. Ain't no push controversy. You guys won it straight up. You beat the defending champs, man. So congrats, man. You got to chase me back now. I'm saying congratulations in front of everybody now. So, let me dance my text now. Probably buried in the.
And the one good thing about the Super Bowl for all of us was actually that the squad was all together, which was nice.
Which was a very, very rare occasion.
It is, which needs to be less of a rare occasion. But
because of that time of year, or because of some other reason?
We just planned it.
Yeah, we just planned it.
Well, we planned it.
We planned it. It had nothing. We planned that Trey would come here for the Super Bowl, and like I honestly, was hoping the Eagles would be in it, and they all got to watch me sweat. And basically, I always said I can only watch the Super Bowl with
Mr. You.
How you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thanks. Yourself?
Good to have you in the house. We're talking about the Eagles in their championship. I think we need to give John a little bit of love, because he didn't get enough.
Shit anymore. I have to hear too much of that crap, man. I'm done talking.
Ooh, okay. Once you guys get along,
yeah.
What you guys work together to collaborate? All right.
You're just mad. Just mad. The whole time.
At some point before this episode is done, I want to hear from all of you about your teams and how you project things to go. I'll probably let Mike speak for us, and if something crazy, then I have to step in and try to save the day. But besides that, go ahead. But overall, draft thoughts before we start getting into details and projections and rises and fallers. What you guys thinking? Just overall, you feel like this is a good draft for a specific position, bad draft, a weak draft, a strong draft?
It depends on the position, honestly. Like I think there are some positions. Like receiver seems to be, and like receiver and secondary, they seem to be pretty fruitful in how the prospects are looking and how they're rated. This is probably going to be a pretty weak QB draft because it's like even the top end talent, I don't have a lot of faith in. So that's my perspective on it.
I was talking to Jay earlier, and like I know Trey's gonna hate this pick, but like. For some reason, I could see like Kyle McCord like being that like guy to come out of this draft and be like in a good position in 5 years. And like I don't know why.
I've heard that from multiple people.
Because I'm from Syracuse and not because I'm a Syracuse fan. I just have this feeling that like he fits the QB stature. I mean, we see it all the time. He fits the QB stature. He's 6'5", he's 230, 240. He has a big arm. Any GM would be salivating. He can go sits behind a quarterback for 5 years and see what happens.
I just don't.
I know, but you didn't see it with Ohio State, and he was 4,000 yards at Syracuse.
But he also had a lot of exceptions at Syracuse too.
Yeah, he did.
He moved on.
That pick game was ugly.
He moved on, and Ohio State did upgrade. It's not like we didn't go in the championship. I mean, so everybody who said, "Oh, well, look, he left," me. It's not like we didn't go. We went and ran the table after he left. Because we had a guy who wasn't a stick in the pocket, a guy who actually wasn't just flat-footed in the pocket, who was stuck in mud.
So I watched those games.
I mean, college football is not a development league anymore. It's it's a 1 year, and if you're not doing it, you out. That's how it is now.
I mean, that's the NFL too. So better do this shit quickly.
Well, go ahead,
I watch Q's game. I mean, they're in New York, so I keep an eye on stuff. But I ain't wearing orange and nothing like that. But I watched him. You like him better than Tyler Shuck?
I don't know much about Tyler Shuck, but
that's a guy that has all the things you want theoretically from a quarterback. I mean, he's a little older, so that could be a good thing because he's seen more.
Yeah.
And then the kid that's 22 years old is he's 26, I think it is, or will be 26. He got the arm. Accuracy is not really a problem. He can move in the pocket. He makes good decisions for the most part. And the good part is that he's been growing since he started, which is so I think I would like him more than McCord, but you don't.
I just think like when you go to the NFL, a lot of these like the first year is always going to be rough unless like you're like an Andrew Luck or something, or like a RG3 who came in and kind of took it by storm, or Cam Newton or something like that. Like it's very difficult because now like it's exactly what Trey just said. If you don't do it in the first year, look at Bryce Young. Look how good Bryce Young got from year 1 to year 2. And we basically shut the door on him, said, he needs to retire, go be a bank accountant, and take that Alabama degree somewhere else. Like, that's basically what we said after year 1. And then year 2, okay, you got a little bit better. It's not development in the NFL anymore. It's you go in and win, or there's no room at all. So, which I get because there's a lot of money in quarterback game, but I hate that part about the NFL sometimes. It's like, let these guys develop. I mean, Sam Darnold's kind of like, he hasn't done much. I don't want to speak too soon, because if he does better next 3-4 years, okay, then he's a prime example of let the guy grow and develop as a professional.
Right.
Copy that. All right, we're going to say hello to Herb and Raj. Guys, thanks for joining us. This show comes on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Awesome show on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. All right, Jamie, Mike, what are you guys' thoughts, man? You get a chance to hear from you guys yet? What you thinking?
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it's as far as the whole McCord versus Shuck thing, I think the one kind of knock on Shuck, and it's the same one that's kind of coming into the draft with Dylan Gabriel, is they are on the older side of these quarterbacks. They're, 25, 26 years old. They were in college for a while. And so there's, I think, kind of apprehension about the two of them in the sense of like, yes, they've gotten better seemingly every year that they were in college, but is their progression done? How much more progression are they going to be able to have in, as you said, a very like be successful or you're done type of, NFL that we have these days, as opposed to the younger quarterbacks. And I've heard from multiple people that they think Kyle McCord may end up being the best QB in this draft because he is the prototypical quarterback. He does have the size. He has the stature. He has the skill set that a traditional NFL quarterback has, where we've seen a bunch of athletic quarterbacks come out of college that were supposed to be really good, but the one thing they couldn't do was play the style they played in college, because the style they played in college, the one that comes to mind for me was Johnny Manziel, was the run around until a play gets made. In the NFL, you can't do that because it's the best defensive players you played against and some you never played against all on the same team. So you can't do
that. Man didn't cross my mind.
We all know Johnny's was other things too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Johnny's off the field
we've
stuff.
We've seen in a Netflix documentary, like it wasn't just his running gun. He had other factors.
No. I mean, no, Johnny's off the field stuff was too, but I always said that style was never, whether he had off the field issues or not, that style was never going to work in the NFL for a long period of time. You might have a couple games where he makes highlight reel plays, but eventually he's going to get put into the turf and it's not going to work out. So that's, I think, the benefit that McCord has is that he knows how to stay in the pocket when he has to. It's just a question of, can you get him
stay in the pocket, or he only can stay in the pocket? See, that's a difference.
Well, I mean, no, and I'm saying that's the question.
Yeah, that was the thing I saw from Ohio State to Syracuse, is that he developed more into he could get out of the pocket, move
the escapability,
and actually improved a lot on that. So going from Ohio State to Syracuse, I know it's a different conference, a weaker conference, and weaker play and everything like that. But seeing that development was kind of cool to see from one year to the next from one player.
I've always maintained that we would not have won that championship if he was our starting quarterback last year. I truly believe that.
No, and I don't know. I don't think you're wrong in the sense. I don't think McCord was the quarterback for you, but he was the quarterback for Syracuse. It's also like play styles and playbooks and things like that. It was the game plan was more at Syracuse was more suited to McCord as well.
All right, Jim, you had plenty of time to think it over, brother. It's been teed up for you, brother.
Yeah, I don't think teams need to panic too much in this draft and wonder if they missed. I feel like there's a lot of talent on the back half where you're talking about the next best 25, and looking at the rankings right now, I mean, like Walter Nolan finds himself on the back half at the top of that second 25 list. Jackson Dart's in there, who I've been high on him since the beginning of last year. Trey's guy, Emeka Egbuka's on there. I think the biggest hit, and the Bucs have been talking about reaching up for him. I don't think it's a reach up. I think it's a great pick. Is Malachi from Georgia? Malachi Starks. I think he comes in and fits in great right away. I think that safety combo between him and Antoine Winfield Jr. could be perfect. They could play in the slot and they could play in any position, either in the box, wherever you want them to play. And that's what the Bucks really need. I mean, if we're looking at what we didn't do well last season is we allowed more points, and that's where we allowed a lot of drives to stay alive. So I think having a lot of good options in the back end are good for the teams picking 18 and above. I don't think it's one of those drafts where you have to panic, but we definitely are going to see some teams panic and reach up, as well as some teams trade down. I think the Saints are in a very bad position right now just because they have to balance the books well. So I don't think the Saints make as big of a splash as people think in the first round. I think they're going to accumulate picks. And then I'm really excited to see what San Francisco does with their, what do they have, 10, 11, 12 picks? We know they have to go young, and they're going to go defense as much as they can. I mean, after that Buffalo game last year, we know the situation was, they played in the snow, but they got embarrassed in many games other than that. That's because the defense is getting too slow. So, they talked about the last year being San Fran's last window. Maybe it was. Maybe they can build enough defensively to compete again. I think the NFC West is wide open, even though the Rams look like the front runners. But it's going to be a really good draft, I think, for the teams in that 18 and up after the first half, or 16 and up, because there's a ton of really good players on the board after the top 25.
Copy that. All right, Trey, where we going next, brother?
As everybody knows, whoever ever watches our show, we like to play a lot of games. Like we have little side games. Play a quick side game here. It's going to be called Big Miss or Can't Miss. Basically, we're going to name a person. We'll say if it's going to be a big miss, meaning this person is probably going to be a flop, or if they can't miss, it's somebody that we're confident on, like this guy is going to be a hit. We already mentioned it. I'm going to go first. We already mentioned this guy. I'm looking at Tyler Shuck. Now, let me give you my point, because I think he's going to be a big miss. I'm going to give you some facts. I've been doing a lot of research on this guy, because every year we get some guys, a quarterback who just comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden everybody's like, this is the guy. We didn't know anything about him. Now suddenly the guy. I remember Trubisky going for like a second or third round draft pick to suddenly being the guy, and then the Bears ended up quickly regretting it. So earlier, as Mr. U mentioned, Shook is going to be 26 in the first month of the season. That makes him the same age as Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts, John's boy Jalen. So I never liked a guy coming in with that type of age, to be honest. On top of that, he pretty much was only a starter his last year. So when everybody says he's getting better, yeah, I guess you are getting better. You were pretty much on the bench, or he was hurt in most years, which I really did not like. I went all the way back to Tyler's high school years, because I like to see what type of pedigree. And they talked about guys like Jalen Hurts. They talked about this guy's always had a pedigree. He's always been a winner. He figured this out. So he went to Chandler High School in Arizona. I'm sorry, he went to Hamilton High School in Chandler, Arizona. They had an overall record of 15-9 with Shook there. In the school's 20-year history at the time, that is the worst starting record of a quarterback ever in the history of that school. That school has been to 8 championships. Eight have been to 8 state championships in Arizona, won 7, or was it 5? Or maybe, I think it was 8. I think they maybe won 4 and lost 4, something like that. But the point is, he set that record. He had the record for most losses, most record for completions. I'll give him that. He had the most touchdowns. He had the most attempts, of course, most incompletions. I didn't really love that. Then everybody says, okay, look at the guy's measurables. He runs a 4.6. Yeah, that's fine. But he had 42 rushing attempts for 19 yards last season. So what good does it matter if he runs a 4.6 if he's just basically a stick in the pocket? He goes to Oregon. Then he has to transfer to Texas Tech because he keeps losing these jobs. So everybody wants to tell me how this guy is supposed to be the next thing up. I just don't see it, and I think he's going to be a big miss. Mike, you mentioned him earlier. What do you feel about Tyler?
Yeah, so I think the problem is that age is not on his side compared to other prospects, and it's he's a guy that it's appealing because of like the raw arm talent, the ability to throw the ball, and he's obviously setting the high school record, like you said, completions and touchdowns and stuff like that. He can throw the ball. It's just right. My concern is, has his progression reached its peak? Because he's already in what most players, or he's at least really close to what most NFL players would be their prime, even at the quarterback position.
Yep.
I'm kind of in the middle, because I think it depends on where he gets picked. Because if you get him in the 4th round, he might end up being.
They have people project them in the first now.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. If you end up getting him in the 4th round, I think he could end up turning into a good value there. However, if you're picking him in the 1st or 2nd round, and I think he'll probably end up somewhere in the mid-2nd round, yeah, I think he's a big miss if you get him there.
Yeah, that terrifies me. Jay, what do you think about Tyler?
Yeah,
I like
might pick him.
I like Tyler.
Are y'all picking Tyler?
Yeah, no, but we're not. But I like Tyler. I think he can fit. I think every quarterback has to show some semblance that they have to scramble. He didn't have to do that much in the offense. A lot of that is because the ACC is super slow and their style didn't really suit him having to do that too often. So I think he can plug and play right away on a team that's desperate. And we have a lot of desperate teams out there that want to plug and play a quarterback. And so what if they end up getting him in the second round and they miss on a second round pick? At least they didn't waste a top 4 or 5 pick on him, which they won't reach that much for him. I think the guy has upside based on the fact that sometimes you have to keep finding ways to be long instead of being the man. That's why he was a bit of a journeyman. I don't mind journeymen for the sake that you've worked with multiple coaches, multiple coordinators. You're not stuck on the fact that this is who you have to be around, a la Caleb Williams, in order to have success. So I think he's worth the risk if you want to take him in the second. I doubt he'll drop to the third, but moving up to the first, I think you can wait and get him in the second.
John, what about you?
I have no idea who the guy is. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
mean, that gives me as much notice. I just kind of looked him up here. I mean, he's been in college football. Exactly those stats that you say with Trey, like he can't win a starting job at a big time school. Doesn't mean you can't be a big time quarterback in the NFL. That doesn't translate at all. I don't think what you do in college is important, but I don't think it's the end all be all. I mean, right, like he's 6'5", 220. Okay, he's a lanky quarterback. I mean, could be a third stringer, but I don't know. He kind of reminds me of sorry, Jay, but he reminds me of the guy from Tennessee. What's his name?
Nico.
The Mayo Man.
Mayo Man. Will Levis.
Oh, Levis. Yeah.
A little bit overrated, overhyped.
Oh, Mayo Man.
All this shit. I mean, I guess I would take Will Levis over him, but I mean,
no, you wouldn't. No, you would not.
Sandwich. So, but I don't know. I know nothing about the guy, and
y'all killed Tyler Shuckman.
Also, he didn't really impress me throughout the year, even though I think Louisville was top ranked at some point. I don't know. I don't know much about the guys, so that says a lot.
Yeah, no, he just never stood out.
This is the first
time.
I think
you need to stand out. Yeah, I think you need to stand out from being personally, but that's just me.
A lot of quarterbacks.
I know the top.
A lot of quarterbacks, people don't even know what school they went to before they got drafted. So you don't need to stand out, like John said. I don't think that.
Yeah, but if I'm a first round pick.
If I'm a first round pick,
they keep saying this is the first.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I don't reach for him in the first round.
Yeah,
you might. I mean, I would go as far as to say if you want to be a second round pick, you should probably stand out at least somewhat at some point in the year.
Yeah, I gotta know who you are. I don't know who you are, and I've watched ACC football.
Nobody has them in the second round either, really.
No, they're talking late first round right now.
Second round.
Yeah, they said 4 QBs might end up off the board. Mike is a big might.
That's just smoke, man. Anytime you got to run on a position that teams need, and we might end up seeing it on Thursday night. Happen again. If everybody wants cornerback and there's a run on cornerback, it's going to happen. Guys that were second and third round, they're going in late first, early second. It happens all the time. That's the only way Tyler Shuckman has a chance to even be in that. Beside that, this is the third round quarterback, maybe even fourth round.
Like I said, I value him in the fourth round, but it goes to kind of what Trey and Jamie said. Like Jamie said, there's a lot of desperate teams out here, and as Trey said, it's the guys that are going to go. You have to stand out.
I just think that
just doesn't stand out.
NFL draft is the first round is so overrated. So I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh yeah, the probable best
overrated fucking draft. Oh, sorry,
best quarterback ever won
in this entire thing. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw 10 quarterbacks go in the first round. That's how wild that is.
Okay.
I would be blown away.
I'd be like, all right, that makes sense. It would not be surprising. I would just be like, okay.
Three is the max in my mind. 3, I can see that happening.
No, 10 ain't.
You be a part of that.
I'm saying 10 exaggerating, but I wouldn't be. If you told me 10, if I never watched it, and you told me 10, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm calling. You would not be surprised because you don't even know who the number 4 guy is with 10 QBs in the first round of this draft. That doesn't make sense.
What?
You don't even know who number 4 is, but you wouldn't be surprised at take 10 in the first round. It doesn't.
No,
it
he's
doesn't,
saying you don't know who the 4th prospect.
You don't know who he is, so that doesn't
This
really
isn't
match
like-
your reasoning that you wouldn't be surprised. You would have to be surprised if it happens.
isn't
You don't
like
even know
the
who the
Josh
number 4
Allen,
QB
Josh
prospect
You
Rosen.
is.
see quarterbacks all the time. Like we're like, you shouldn't draft that guy. And it's like, okay. I'm not a quarterback heavy
Even
NFL.
Well-
I just see it so much in the NFL in the first round that you see it year after year where they take guys and it's like, okay,
It's a weak class.
that makes sense. It's been a weak class for a few years.
I could genuinely see 5. I could see 5 in the first.
What? Who?
A couple picks over the last maybe like few years. I've been like,
Who's
all right,
5, Mikey?
And who are you kicking out of the first round from 5
Okay.
quarterbacks?
Okay, so Cam,
No, we know the first 3. Who's 5?
who's 5? Well,
Yeah.
we got Shuck, and everybody's forgetting about Jalen Milrow and
He's not
Jackson
going in the
Dart.
first round. We can eliminate Shuck from this conversation. He's not going to be in this first round. Who else you
Yeah, you
got?
say that. Yeah,
You
I
say
am.
that, but
I
Yeah,
am.
nope. But
And I
did
like
you-
him.
I'm saying that.
I'll
Did you
go
think
one
Penix
up on
was
Lloyd.
gonna
I think it'll be
last year?
six people in the
That's
draft.
the 3rd prospect. That's what I said. That's most likely to go of the other 2 that everybody's talking about.
32 quarterbacks in the first round.
Boom, let's do it.
Everybody take a quarterback.
And the Bucks can
These
get
drafts
Abdul
be-
Qadir.
drafts
We
be
don't need
destroyed when that happens.
I don't know if
Mr.
there's 32 quarterbacks in the draft.
Mr. You seem
They are
heavy
not.
on
It's about
It
12.
says there are 11 quarterbacks
11.
in the draft.
11 or 12. Yeah.
You seem heavy on Shuck. Are you in on him?
Heavy?
Yeah.
No, I like Will Howard more than I like him.
Okay, you like Howard more than
Yeah.
That's a little more too dumb.
For me,
Riley
this is and Mikey might be able to help me out with this. No, I'm not doing a Riley Leonard. I never said that. I don't want that at all. I think that we got enough quarterbacks that can't steal over the O-line. We good. But I think the Giants need to get back to some basics in that regard. The big quarterbacks it's going to help. I mean, I'm not saying the guys can do it, but the guys like Russell Wilson that they struggle to see down the field. I don't want that for a quarterback. We need to get past that stuff because we need to get kind of match up with what Philly got, what Washington got going on. We have to match up with this. So I want to have a big quarterback, not so much a prototype, a guy that can do all necessary quarterback things. Our last 2 years, 3 years, it was for lack of having a quarterback that can do quarterback things. I mean, that's why we were losing. We were in a lot of the games that we played. If you go back and look at the scores, we were in a lot of the games. And that was mainly defense and some other things, but quarterback play could have turned the whole tide for us in that regard. We'd be in the playoffs, maybe not, but we'd be better than 3 wins and 4 wins for sure. So I've been on the record saying that consistently. Consistent, at least efficient quarterback play, and we are contending the past 3 years. Not going into a 14-year stretch of not competing, excluding 2022, which is an asterisk in my opinion. But excluding that, we contending as we should be. So quarterback play is a big deal. So I don't want somebody who just can do some stuff. I want to as much of a complete quarterback as possible. And I don't know if they're in this draft, but guys like Howard seem to have enough of what we would need. Everything is going to be up to coaching, which is a big deal. I have a big question about that. I know Dave Ball and Shane were involved in the Josh Allen project. In some of his worst years, they were a part of that, and then his progression. So I think that in my mind, I think they want a quarterback that's kind of like that. I didn't say that was Shuck. I was telling guys on the show, I think Will Howard is more of that kind of quarterback. They're not talking about him, which makes me think they probably like him a lot. If not mention him at all. I don't think he even had a visit. But guys like that, I think we need to have that kind of guy. The guy that can be coached, also has enough raw talent to be able to carry a team at least beyond 7 or 8 wins at least. I mean, we can make progress this year with all the time we have on the other side of the ball defensively as well too. I think defense is going to be improved in this draft too, but we can get into that if we have time. But did I answer the question?
Yeah, I will. The one thing I will say about that, and I know we'll get
Back me up. Back up your boy. Back me up.
I know we'll get more into also like what we think our teams are going to do. I don't disagree. The quarterback play needs to be better. Daniel Jones at one point showed he could run 80 yards, no further, but he ran 80 yards. The quarterback play needs to be good, but also I think the Giants just refuse to admit the fact that their O-line is just awful. And is going to continue to be awful until they actually address it, which they don't ever seem to want to do. I mean, they did okay addressing it in the offseason last year. It did all right, but I mean, we were talking about before we went. Yeah, exactly. Also, letting your all-pro running back leave is usually a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't want to do that on this show.
It's usually
I'd rather not.
No, listen, we have to.
I'm not even help us out. I don't even want to go.
There's only one way forward, and that's to address it head on. Apply directly to the forehead. If anybody gets that reference.
It's already been applied, man. I'm already concussed regarding this situation. There's no need to blunt me. I'm already on the ground with my eyes closed. There's no need to.
It was just such a bad decision, and it was immediately proven to be a bad decision. And I'm not even talking about the Super Bowl. I'm just talking about Week 1. Like, that was just awful.
230 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I know what he did.
2 touchdowns.
Let me throw a quick caveat out to you guys right there. Do you think, I don't know if you guys know who this, I mean, you should know who the Seahawks lost and who they've replaced them with. Do you think the Seahawks have done the best immediate job at replacing the talent they lost offensively?
No.
Pre-draft?
No.
No.
What do you mean by talent, though? Like, are you talking
okay,
about?
So they lost their quarterback and their best receiver, but they've replaced them, right? So they lost Geno and they lost Metcalf, but they replaced it with Darnold and Cooper Kupp. And I think they also brought in Mike. He was the second receiver. They brought in.
I know.
I mean, other than Metcalf, it's an equal. I mean, equal as it can be. I mean, I can't speak too much on Darnold right now. I don't know what he's going to be. This is 1 year that we saw from Minnesota, and the last 2 games that we saw old school Sam Darnold.
Yeah, we saw original Darnold.
I don't know what we're going to see in Sam. If we see what we saw in Minnesota, then I think it's pretty even trade. Other than the Metcalf, I mean. Cooper Kupp was an MVP. I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, I know he's older. He's had a couple ACL injuries. I get he's slowed down.
He's definitely on decline, though.
Yes,
that played a part, man. Metcalf wasn't in that situation. He had some other stuff up here that was going on. But
I'll be honest with you. I really don't understand the Metcalf trade, other than him wanting it. But like, I don't understand why. I don't even know if he wanted it. I think
they didn't want to pay him.
You know,
why was kind of on the wall?
It just doesn't make any sense to me, in my opinion. I'm like, okay, like this doesn't make any sense.
They didn't want to pay him. That's what it came
down. That's all it was about, Jay.
It was a money decision.
The thing is, if we were talking about Cooper Kupp as the upgrade to Tyler Lockett, okay, I could understand. I could say, yes, they did the best to improve it, but you're replacing DK Metcalf with Cooper Kupp.
Right.
No can do. Bringing in MVS is like, that's not even solving the Tyler Lockett situation, because Tyler Lockett was way more reliable. You can trust him to make plays down the field, especially when he was healthy. MVS,
yeah,
the Saints had some long bomb they threw to him that made them look really good. But beside that, he's on his 4th team or so now. That's not accidental. He's becoming a journeyman now. Well, that's not an upgrade to Tyler Lockett.
He was one of many receivers for the Chiefs that had issues catching the ball, which, you know, as a receiver tends to be your job.
It's the literal job.
Yeah, it's kind of the prerequisite.
The whole idea behind the position is
wide receiver.
So here's the follow-up, right? If Matthew Golden from Texas is sitting there, does Seattle have to take him? Like, is there a no-brainer? He's the fastest receiver in the draft. He probably has the most upside. A lot of people say it right now, other than your boy, of course, Trey. I know you think that your boy is the guy. He's going to but you think it's a no-brainer? Seattle has to go best receiver on the board. They're picking 18 when it comes around to them.
Who's his
voice?
Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jeremiah Smith. I was like, he's a freshman.
No, he's not in the draft.
And
he's not making it to 18.
History and
got 2 more years.
and he's not making it to 18 when he gets to the draft.
Yeah, he would be much higher. He wouldn't even be in that discussion.
He might make it past 1, maybe 2. 1 or 2.
We know.
So not guaranteed. So based on what you guys said, you don't think Seattle has to go wide receiver because they downgraded that much?
No.
It
depends on who's there.
You got to go with something that's going to help Darnold. I mean, I think you've got to go to a system that's going to help Darnold, and whatever worked in Minnesota needs to go translate in Seattle. It has to. If it doesn't, Darnold's going to fail. It doesn't matter who's on the outside. If he can't get the ball to them, don't fucking matter if you have anybody out there, right? You want Jerry Rice out there. If you can't give him the ball, you can't give him the ball. So I think you need to protect him, number one. And number two, you got to get some more defensive help. Defense.
Jamie, I know because Jamie asked that question. I know that he saw some of those games because that's too random a team to bring up right now. So you had to see some of those games. Did you watch that O-line? That situation ain't good.
Yeah,
Gino was mobile enough and he got out of some situations, but he got slammed a good bit. Those last 3 games, that man was eating turf the entire game. I think in their case, they got a guy that I watched a little bit of tape on, Gray Zabel. I don't know if Dakota State. If he's in that area right there, them boys better run, take a 4-wheeler to the podium and get that man that card because Darnold had what he has in Minnesota was at a premium. In Seattle, they don't have that. They're gonna have to build that. I want to give him the contract they gave him because they got to build that. So getting a guy like Gray Zabel, I mean, I watched him play some tape. Great feet. I mean, he is great with absorbing the pass rush. I mean, he's really good. He'll help Darnold out. It's not the only thing they have to do, but it'll be a big part. So to answer your question, Jay, I think they should go ahead and get somebody like that. Like I think Trey admitted to the same thing too. Who's going to help Darnold out? You can't just get a wide receiver and think they're going to have enough O-line protection to get the ball to all these people. I'm saying because that's not what's happening in Seattle before that with Gino. He was struggling with that. He got the ball to JSN, but aside from that, the struggle was real. If you don't believe me, just ask him.
I mean, the other thing too is like we keep talking about like all these skill positions and everything like that, but common theme with the teams that are best football teams in the league are exactly what you just said, Mr. U, is the O-line. There's a reason why the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Niners all have had successful years over the last 4 or 5 years because they've had the best O-line in the game, and that's the centerpiece of your offense. If your quarterback has 5 to 10 seconds to throw the ball and you still are messing up, okay, that's a you problem. But if you have 5 to 10 seconds to throw to all these skill positions, I like to see what that Seattle team could do with a great offensive line.
It also helps when you can hand the ball off 25 times and not worry about it.
They could in Seattle too. They got great running backs in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling Walker the way everybody else is.
You're talking about it, so
What?
that's at the talent level.
I'm not in love with Walker.
Well, obviously it's not Saquon, but Kenneth Walker's not a bad back. Like, he's a good.
No, he's not. I'm not in love with him though.
Well, Walker's thing is not talent. Walker's thing is availability. He has injury issues. Yeah. But Zach Charbonnet actually did step up for them in some games.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be traded.
But again, goes back to a bad offensive line. You went back to a skill position. Like I said, all these reasons he got popped a lot behind that line of scrimmage. Yeah. What does that?
No, the game's won in the trenches.
Offensive line. You put Saquon behind a bad offensive line. Look what happened in the last 4 years. From as good 2,000 yards.
Oh man. Is that what your soul show is going to be about?
Thanks for playing into that one so well there, John. Good job.
Yeah, you threw me the alley-oop. I just slammed it home.
No one has to score the basket.
The reason I brought up Seattle is to me, it's like they're the team that's probably underachieved the most in the NFC. You missed the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. I feel like they had I know they lost a lot defensively over the last year coming into last season, but they always had that interesting team that like flirts. They win 4 out of 5. They kind of show you that they might be making a run, and they just can't seem to get together. That's why I'm really interested to see what they do to try and compete because I feel they have the right pieces. They're in a tough, they're in a tough division now with the Rams improving so much and Arizona looking like they're getting better too. But they've always been an interesting team to me. Like trying to figure out what they're doing with who they have. And the NFC is always there for the taking. There's not. It's like the AFC where it's like who's going to beat the Chiefs, right? Who's going to beat the Bills? Who's going to beat the Raven? Like you almost locked in. It's like okay, these guys are winning the division. The NFC seems to be wide open every year over the past couple of years.
You know what's funny is I have no idea. I have no idea what the head coach is. If it was a Jeopardy question, I get it wrong. I have no idea who.
Seattle.
The correct answer is Mike McDonald.
Exactly. Like it's hard to guess.
It's Mike McDonald.
Yeah. They honestly, despite their depth chart, these guys need O-line, D-line help throughout this draft. I don't know how many picks they got, but if I'm them, I'm using 40% of them in the trenches because it's not what they got going on. You see names there, but that's all it really is. It just names there. I mean, the biggest name on the D line is probably Leonard Williams, and like beside that, it's just names there. It just names on the like Oluwatimi on the O line. It just names. They need to have some power players because they got to protect that asset. Now they gave Darnold a lot of money for him to stay upright, so they got to take care of that. And right now, what they have right now, they can't go into the season with this. They have to do something else.
Gone what else we got? The Legion of Boom.
Yeah, they're probably never going to come back now. They can try, but Julian Love's not going to help them come back. How do we know that?
I miss Julian Love. Julian Love was.
You do? I don't.
The one year of Julian Love was. Well, also I'm a Notre Dame fan, so it's kind of.
I don't miss him.
I respect the room with that big Palomalo jersey hanging up behind it, because even if Palomalo was playing this year, who the hell's throwing the ball when he gives you back the ball like he would so much? Address the elephant in the room for us, Trey. Go on and tell us who the hell's going to be throwing the ball.
DK Metcalf's my quarterback.
Who's throwing the ball?
DK Metcalf. It's throwing to DK Metcalf.
Oh, he's going to throw the ball now?
He's going
to DK Metcalf.
That'd be awesome.
We didn't get that memo. My bad. He can throw it to himself 40 times a game.
That'd be awesome.
On the planet.
Even better if it works.
That would be amazing.
You got Kyle. What's his name? Mason Rudolph back.
Mason Rudolph's back.
Yeah,
Mr. U, what's your opinion on that? What you
Mason Rudolph? They ain't no.
They can just dump their quarterbacks with no plan to go into the offseason.
Mason has a punch in the face.
The Steelers have to get a quarterback. Everybody talk about the Giants and how quote unquote desperate we are to get a quarterback. The deals they made with Wilson and Winston, that says a lot. That says, you know what? We got one guy on a 2-year deal, which I'm good with it. I'm good with Winston there, believe it or not, because I want somebody to throw down the field because we haven't had that for quite a while. And then you got Wilson, who does the things that he does. It's fine. I'm on a 1 year, no big financial contribution going out there. So what that says to me is, you know what? We don't have to get a quarterback early in the draft. We can go as late as we want to. We have coverage at least for this 2025 season. The Steelers, though, you know they got to get a quarterback. I ain't say they're more quote unquote desperate, but it's obvious. Everybody in the world, look at the depth chart. You know you got to do it. Aaron Rodgers, put the Rodgers thing to the side, because that's just like. Hope nobody wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I just hope that doesn't happen on the show today. But beside that, we got working with Mason Rudolph, and I don't know who's behind it. Was Skylar Thompson? Was he the same guy in Miami? We got to see a little bit of that. We know what that is. It's open book now. You got to get a quarterback. So who you getting?
That's why
everybody Jackson. I don't know how much you guys like him, but what are you doing at 21? You got to get a quarterback, right?
Steelers are now. They're like looking at. Like it's like when in gym class when you're picking everybody and Rodgers is the last guy there and they're like, all right, who else can I pick? And
you don't have to pick Rodgers.
You know what? We'll play.
Rodgers is like sticking his head out like in the line, like trying to take 3 steps forward.
We all know the Steelers take a very long time to sign anybody, and Mr. Rodgers will be Trey's favorite player come week.
Absolutely not.
So what you're saying is
black and gold.
What you're saying is Pittsburgh will be Mr. Rogers' neighborhood?
Oh, no.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood does take place in Pittsburgh.
It was actually filmed in Pittsburgh to be so, Trey, Destiny since the 60s.
Yeah, that guy's old and washed, just like Mr. Rogers. I'm not pressed to get Rodgers regardless. I mean, really, you just take whatever quarterback falls to you. When you're at 21, you take whatever quarterback falls to you at 21 because you don't really have any room to dictate unless you trade up. At the end of the day, this is going to be a bridge year regardless. For still, every fan goes in with these unrealistic expectations. You think your team's going to the Super Bowl. There only can be one champ. Some years are bridge years. That's what this is going to be. As simple as that. Truthfully, what I would do is if the right quarterback falls, they're fine. If they don't, then figure it out later. You got too many other gaps you need to fill. I still want to get rid of Pickens because I'm sick of his shit and all the antics. As far as I'm concerned, I think they can still get a second-round pick for him. So I think you get back into the second round. My ideal way, you go
a second-round pick. You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
someone would throw out that pen.
Yeah, I think
still young enough.
He's on a cheap contract.
The Niners need to stack receiver anyway. The Niners might go ahead and say like make them our problem because we have 11 picks.
What do you mean?
I think you
have a stack receiver.
Huh?
But they did just trade Debo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was older and injured. Pickens is
That's-
healthy. He just is a nutcase, but he's healthy. So.
Let's see. Healthy and a nutcase. Who does that remind me of?
A, B, C.
I know. That's what I saw.
Oh no!
Hopefully it's not that bad.
Don't bring him back.
So yeah,
Wow.
for me, well, we'll figure out the quarterback. We figure it out. But there's no need to be pressing for stuff. If you happen to get the right guy to father, then you get the right guy to father. But I'm not high on a lot of the quarterbacks in this class. I'm not high on Rodgers. So I think from the quarterback position, it's going to be a doomed year. They're going to play defense. They're going to try to run the ball. I would love for them to get one of the Ohio State backs if one of the two of them are there in the second or third round. If they trade back into the second round, if Judkins or Henderson, I would love for them to go for one of them too. Because I just think
any chance you guys take Kirk Cousins as a risk for 1 year?
I don't see why, because the salary doesn't.
It's a trade for him too. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Trade stuff for him.
You got to pick up $25 million of that money.
Pickens.
And Atlanta's already come out and said that they're not taking anything but a first round pick for him. So
first, wow.
They want to first.
Less. Like,
I'm about to trade for that dude, his Achilles. No, I would rather at that point.
You sign Rodgers.
Right. At that point, you just sign Rodgers. At least you
get a first round pick. And you keep your first round pick. And so at that point, you're like, all right, I might take the guy that actually wins in the playoffs, or gets to the NFC Championship game and wins.
Jay, we haven't talked about your Bucks at all. What do you want your Bucks to do?
Man, not play the Eagles.
Personally, just because the Godwin situation, we don't know if he's going to come back like himself. I would love if we get the kid from Texas. I think I love him. I love speed. So I think it works in the NFL. So Matthew Golden would be my goal. I don't think that happens. So I feel like we're going to stack on defense like we should stack on defense. I mean, we're a top 3 offense in the league last year with what we already had. We didn't drop off that much after Godwin left. But there is a lot of talk of us going with Malachi. That's why I said we could reach up for him. There's also a lot of talk of us potentially taking the kid from California, like Cal in the 3rd round. Noel Williams is a name they threw out there, so they might not have to reach for corner in that 1st round as much as I think that they might. But there's a lot. Like I said, there's so many good players available. I think one of the names being thrown out there was Jihad Campbell of Bama. I know Urban Raj loved that one, and I would love him to be on our team because I think eventually he replaces Levante David, who's getting up there. I think he's like 34, 35 now. So that's a good move for the future. I like good moves for the future in the 1st round if you think it's going to work out. So to me, if he's on the board, 100%. Take the kid from Bama, because what do we know about kids from Bama? They do pretty damn good in the NFL. So that's a pretty safe pick.
Unless they're quarterbacks.
John, question for you. Speaking of Bama, Milroe, how do you feel about him?
One loves the QBs.
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. How do you feel about
okay. I think I asked Jay. Sorry, I didn't hear
No, I said John. We talking about.
I am confused by Milroe, to be very honest with you. He showed light of, oh wow, okay, he's improved a lot, and then there's other games where it's like the second half of the Georgia game, like
what are you doing?
First half of the like what happened to this guy? Like it was just very like up and down. I think he has talent. I think he has what NFL teams would want, but I think he's one of those guys that needs to go and sit behind a starter, maybe an older starter, and just kind of learn the system, learn how to be a professional, get with that. And we say this all the time, and I say this all the time. He has to get with the right coach. I was honestly thinking with you guys, but not as the immediate starter. I think Tomlin can help coach him because I just like Tomlin as a coach, right? As I think he's good with young players and can really coach them up. But not the bad part is if he would go to the Steelers, he's day one starter.
Bro, he doesn't start right now.
You have to start.
Just like Justin Fields, though, it's like that move would make no sense because, like, okay, we got rid of Justin Fields to bring in a similar guy, like almost the same.
And I don't think Justin Fields got with the right team as he's being drafted, right? And I think he just is going to bounce around until he finds that right team, kind of like what's his face for the Raiders now,
Gino.
Like, eventually found his way, found his coach, and it's like, okay, now he's starting to click. I think that's the same thing with Milroe. He gets drafted to the right place. You never know. I mean, I think he has the talent. It's just, will they surround an offense around him? very iffy. I have no idea what's gonna.
He's gonna be interesting.
It could be a Jamarcus Russell, or it could be like Geno Smith. Well, not as bad.
Yeah, I hope not.
Please don't swear here.
Sorry.
Jamarcus Russell has a swear word when it comes to draft coverage.
Number one.
It's basically
Raiders history. Yeah.
What's worse, Jamarcus Russell or Ryan Leaf?
Jamarcus Russell.
Ryan Leaf.
I'm gonna go Russell here.
That dude was like, I thought he was going to be like the next guy coming out of LSU. I was like, wow, this dude is.
Yeah, nothing happened.
And then
Ryan Leaf literally
exactly, Mr. You, nothing happened. Like literally,
Like
the most energy he exerted was getting off the plane to Oakland.
Yeah, he gained about 46 pounds after draft.
One night of brother.
He looked like
those post-draft snacks with something kicking.
Oh yeah, if I remember correctly, they said he showed up to his second Raiders training camp at like 3:05.
Bubbly.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, looked like Warren Sapp.
Was he trying out for the line?
No, he didn't want to be quarterback. He wanted to be Jared Lorenzen. But there was only one hefty lefty.
R.I.P.
Yes.
R.I.P. Jared.
My guy.
Yeah.
Question
that's
for you.
by the way, that's Super Bowl champion Jared Lorenzen.
That's right, Mike. Put some respect on his name.
Oh, believe me, it's all the respect I have.
Mr. You, question for you.
Yes,
Give
sir.
us either somebody that you see their stock rising or falling right now.
You want both?
Either one. Give me one or the other.
Oh boy. You can see my desk right now. You'd be like, why can't he answer right away? It's like so much stuff. I'm going to say the guy I think is going to fall is Chet McMillan. Now, I know everybody is in love with him. 6'5". I forgot what his stats was. 6'5", what it was. He had a fantastic last two seasons at Arizona. But just watching the tape, he reminds me of somebody. I can't think of who it is, but you guys can help me out with the comparison. But I mean, he's rangy. Catches the 50-50 balls, has the size advantage the majority of the time, runs decent routes. I think the thing is that he doesn't have the aggression that we talk about wide receivers having when we talk about who's the best wide receiver in the wide receiver GOAT conversation that we have on Twitter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys all had something in common, whether it be Megatron, whether it be Jerry Rice, whether it be T.O., whatever it is. They all had that aggression. It's like they're going to fight. They didn't take it for granted that they were taller than the other guy, taller than the corner, but they fought for everything. And they were Randy Moss as well. They fought for it. All the tape I saw on him, I saw several games. No fight.
Mm-hmm.
None. I'm talking about no aggression, no like, this is my world. You know what I'm saying? And to be drafted so high as a wide receiver, you kind of have to have that. Especially, I think Mikey said that this draft is full of wide receivers. Got like Luther Burden and Egbuka and Isaiah Bond. I mean, it's full of wide receivers. You need to, like you said, separate yourself. That part, I know the draft stock is falling, but I think he may even fall even lower than what we thought because that's not the kind of wide receiver that I think most teams want to have. Mm-hmm. Now, can he change that? Yeah, but that was a great opportunity in Arizona to show that. And all that tape that I saw, he never showed it. So I think, in my opinion, that's the guy's going to fall. I thought the guy's going to rise. That's a tough one. And I know Ashton Jonty is rising. I just don't know a running back early in the first round via trade. I'm like, I don't know about this one.
He's going to go.
So I'm the kind of guy that I think is going to rise. Let's jump in to find that guy.
Well, so the one thing that popped into my head when you were describing McMillan, as far as we talk about like ceilings and floor comparison to players, that description sounded a lot like Kelvin Benjamin to me.
Okay, well, that's
big, strong. That which as a floor is bad. That's real bad.
This is Mikey killed me. I could kill me with the Kelvin Benjamin. I
6'5", strong hands. Never was aggressive.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's exactly who that sounds like. That's not a good thing.
And we need to be in dangerous territory if that's what we're saying.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the state of Arizona, Jay, question for you: out of Arizona State, Cam Scatterbury, where would you want to see him go, and does he have actual potential to be a player?
Yeah, that kid's a big ticket, man. Of course he does. I like them. I don't know. If you bring someone with that kind of energy, you can't coach energy. That's the one thing that's the X factor that you can never take into account, that you can't measure it. You can only see it on display in the moment. And he's a gamer. How can you not trust that a gamer is going to come in and give you everything? I think he's the kind of guy that gives you what he has and some. You can't ask for anything more than that. Any team's going to feel like it may be a risky pick, but imagine his energy in training camp. He's the kind of kid that you figure is like going to find a way to get himself at some point on the roster because he will fight for it more than anybody else. He just has that sort of, I call it like the Tasmanian devil kind of energy. You know what I mean? So, and it's unmatched. Like you see it on the field. It's unmatched. John, that's your boy. Go ahead.
No, I think, you know where I think he's going to go? I think he's going to go to New England. I just think he's that Vrabel type of guy.
Yeah, I see it.
That Vrabel type of guy. It's not going to be first round, I don't think. I think it'll be early second, maybe, whatever the pick is. But I just think he's exactly what Jay said. You can't, and Mr. You said, you can't teach that toughness. You can't teach. You can teach skills and fundamentals and everything like that. But for a guy to just keep going and going and going and going, and he has no shutoff switch. It's go, 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 go. And that's the type of guy Vrabel likes. Is that guy that can go, 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 go. He don't like guys that be like, oh, I take plays off. No. It's like, thank God Vrabel wasn't the coach of the Colts last year because Anthony Richardson pick it out there, traded, and
sit your ass down for the rest of your career.
Yeah,
I'm the boss here.
I think Scatterboo actually. I think the Niners are going to get Scatterboo. I think we're near the end of CMC, and Kyle always likes versatile guys. You just trade your Swiss Army knife and Debo. That's what Scatterboo is, and they have a bunch of picks. So at any point, they can just say, "Forget it. We're going to go a little bit higher than what's projected." So actually, I think the Niners.
I would love to see him and Jameis on the same team.
Ooh.
Let's get that energy tornado going.
Okay.
John, your Michigan man, Loveland, the tight end. Is he the real deal?
Colson? Yeah, I mean, he's one of those tough tight ends. I liked him. I liked him at Michigan. He was he was our only receiver. Come on, listen.
Being honest.
You're only catching the ball out of in the receiving core. But yeah, he's not the traditional tight end where you think he's going to be a good blocking tight end. He's more going to be like an Evan Ingram, going to kind of eventually get slimmer, get faster, and be able to be like kind of a flex player in the slot. So I think he's going to make a team very happy if he falls to them. I could even see him, and I hate to see this, but he probably could go to the Chiefs.
Which tight end you mentioned, John? Which one?
Colson Lovin.
Your guy?
Yeah, from Michigan. So, I mean, the Chiefs need a tight end that's kind of like Kelsey. He's about the same height, same build.
Oh, no. I would hate that.
I think Mason Taylor's the better tight end after, of course, we know.
What?
In the class.
We know Tyler Warren's the class of this.
Ooh,
Well, yeah, Tyler Warren's
the best tight end in this whole entire class.
Tyler Warren might be the best receiver.
Yeah, best receiver in the draft taken, period. But I think Mason Taylor out of LSU is going to be a steal for anything.
Ooh, no, I love
Mr.
Loveland.
You're not feeling him?
No, Loveland does everything right, man. I was talking about the attacking the ball, attacking at the point of attack with the pass catching. Loveland does that. I mean, great route runner. I mean, catches in traffic. I mean, he does everything. He blocks downfield. Everything you want. Loveland, he doesn't do. However, Tyler Warren is better. I don't think it's by a wide margin. I think it's by maybe like a smidge, but he's definitely better. I give him props for that. But Mason Taylor, I'm like, oh no, you ain't putting Loveland behind that, man. That's slander in my mind. I can't have that.
No, Mason Taylor does have the NFL pedigree, though.
Okay, Mike, we keep alluding to your Giants. What do you want them to actually do?
What do I think they're actually going to do?
No, what do you? If you're a GM, we fired the GM. You're not a GM of the Giants.
Okay, so what's
all right, Joe Shane?
What I would do? I am not Joe Shane because if I was Joe Shane, Saquon Barkley would still be in New York.
Oh my God!
But because I would have, actually tried to sign him. It's a side note. If I was the GM, whoever Cleveland doesn't take it to, between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, I'm taking it 3. And then, if I can manage a good enough package, I will trade back into the first round because this team needs help. I can't even outright say that I would trade back in for a quarterback like everybody thinks they're going to for Jackson Dart.
So I'm asking to Chase who?
Somebody that's going to help. Like, need to collect as much top end talent as they possibly can, because if they don't, they're going to be piecemealing for the next decade.
Yeah, but at that point, you say you're trading back because you're desperate for an available player, and then late in that first round, who are you that desperate for? Say we'll trade back because we absolutely.
I don't know. It depends on who I see it gets there. Depends on who might fall.
Well, that don't make any sense though. So
like what is your mock draft saying who you're taking in the second round?
Like who would you trade
Can't
for?
do
Like,
that.
come back in the first round. Let's just say you get the 10th pick. Who we get?
A wide receiver.
Okay.
Which one?
Whoever's available.
Jaden Higgins.
I can't tell you who's going to be there.
Jaden Higgins is the guy to take.
Well, if Golden's there, I'll take Golden because I like speed too.
Yeah, I know, but I like it too. But Higgins is your guy, man. You want a big guy who does everything right on the line. He wins 50-50 balls because your quarterback's going to have
we already have our guy that does that. But we already have Neighbors that does that. So I would probably prefer a receiver that's got a different skill set than Neighbors.
Mr. U, you are Mike's assistant GM. I don't think you agree. What are you?
I do not. I love Mr. Mike.
The Giants need to do.
I wrote this note down to remind myself to say this in case somebody says something crazy, like what I just heard just now. If we're not taking a quarterback at 3, I'm pretty confident of that part. I think Mike is feeling that Carter or Hunter. We should feel good about that. Should be fine if we stay at 3. If we're not dropping down out of 3, that's another scenario that could potentially happen. If we're at 34 and we try to trade back in, we're not doing that for anybody but a quarterback. Honestly, there's no other reason for it. You know who? The guy that the Steelers probably going to try to get a 21. Dart.
Well, yeah, if you're going to trade back in for a quarterback,
trade back to the first round. There's no other reason to do it. For no other quarterback, it's unnecessary for anybody else but Dart, because he's the only one that's rising up the board so fast that he's potentially gone in the third half of the first round. He's probably gone. So if we trade him back in, everybody in the world know who it's for. It's not for a wide receiver. It's not for Jahad Campbell. It's not for any of that stuff. It's for Jackson Dart, if we do that.
Which, by the way, I do think that's what they're going to do.
Okay. It's the only reason to trade back in. There's no other points in doing that. We got so many holes. It's like, man, we got so much work that had to be done. But
I'm going to be when and if they do that, I am going to be. There is going to be a little frustration in me because I will have. Well, my only thought was, if you're going to do that, just sign Jameis.
He is signed.
Right. Don't sign Russell.
Oh, you meant don't sign Russell, have Jameis.
Yeah.
Jackson. And call it a day.
Don't sign Russell. If you're going to trade into a first round and take a quarterback, why are you signing 2 quarterbacks?
Oh, you all know your history of getting hurt in New York, and that
okay, it doesn't matter.
Y'all need 10 quarterbacks on that turf. That's the worst field in football.
Well, I don't disagree, but we're not winning either way. So why am I going to waste a season on Russell Wilson?
Jameis, I was
like, sad. We're not going to win anyway.
No, we're not.
What?
Yeah.
You just said we have so many holes.
The long bridge.
Yeah, we can win more than 3 games, man. Be optimistic.
Okay, we'll win 5.
You said more than 3. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a low bar.
We had
more
last
than
year.
3 wins is a low bar.
What I've been saying is I think we can more than double that. That's what I've been saying routinely in all these shows. We can more than double that now.
If we don't take Jackson Dart, then we have to be bad because we have to be aiming for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, so you take Arch Man if
who said that's going to be good?
If your bar 3 wins, you'll be right.
Who said that quarterback class is going to be good?
Listen,
I'd be laughing so hard if March Manning ended up going back for his senior year.
And y'all so frustrating. All I'm saying is this, Mr.
That bridge is getting longer and longer.
The last time that we had this name on this jersey, we won 2 Super Bowls. I'm not saying it's because of him, but it did happen. But it did happen.
Shout out to the real Hall of Famers, by the way.
Now look here.
Yeah,
Look here, man.
Yeah, I said it.
I ain't gonna let you do that up in here. We together. This is a collaborative effort. So I ain't talking about this is my show. This is a collaboration here. I can't allow that. I can't allow that stuff. There'll be no Eli slander on this night. I don't think so.
It's not Eli.
No,
it's being Eli Truther.
Two-time Super Bowl MVP.
I'm an Eli Truther.
Two-time.
Shouldn't have been two-time MVP. The defensive line. You could have just get it to the whole defensive line.
Two-time, two-time.
Two-time, boy. You like that?
No,
I'm interested in Mr. Super Bowl down here because he believes so much in stack the line. So John, you're sitting there at 32, and you have some really good options. You got Tyler Booker from Bama on the board at guard, and you got tackle. You got Josh Conley Jr., both mammoths, just like you like to draft them. Conley is 6'5", 311. You got Booker sitting there at 6'5", 321. You keep stacking your line if you're picking at 32.
No, the Eagles are trading their pick, and they're going to make a major trade in this draft. So Dallas Goedert will not be on the Eagles next year.
For who?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking a defensive end. Not sure who.
Is that your biggest need that you would address as the GM is what I'm asking.
A defensive end?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just lost Josh Sweat.
Okay.
To Arizona. Had to do this thing.
That would be surprising.
And Graham, right?
That would shock me, man.
We lost our Hall of Famer Brandon Graham. So I mean, go blue. I mean,
so I know
you have to address the elephant in the room. I mean, yes, you have Jalen Carr. Yes, we have Jordan Davis. Yes, we have Nolan Smith, who stepped up huge last year, took a huge step forward. Nakobe Dean's coming back off a torn ACL. Oh no, arm injury. I'm sorry, but we lost two great defensive ends, so. That's going to be it. I love Howie, so he's going to make a big trade. Dallas Goedert's going to be traded, and our 32nd pick is going to be gone too. So someone else, potentially on the board, or
they got
32nd.
Eagles got 20 picks in the next 2 years.
Yeah, they got a lot of picks. So they're
not picking up. First off, you can't afford to pay all these people. That's number one. So I know that all those picks are not getting picked.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think we were able to pay all these guys that are on the team now. But Howie's a genius, so I don't know.
I like genius. This is adding 10 more people to the roster. It's not happening. They will make a trade. I don't know how they're gonna make a trade.
He's a genius, so I'm gonna let this dude ride. Keep it going, Howie. He's gonna make a major trade. I'm telling you.
See, now you got me trying to think of who though, because like Myles Garrett.
I know. I have an idea of who.
Well, what's your idea?
I don't know who that is.
Can I guess?
What's your idea? Put it on wax.
Just some ideas, but
go ahead and give a cheap plug here. Tell him Thursday night, John. Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly.
Tune in Thursday for when it happens.
Would they do that for Campbell? You think? Is he worth making a move like that?
Calais Campbell?
No.
Campbell. 45.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking who he can trade for.
Drafted in 2005.
I was gonna say that dude's like in the Hall of Fame already.
What do you think, John? Is he worth going up for?
Jihad Walker's gone by that time, so Jihad might. I mean, he's supposed to be rejected top 60.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I forgot about the elephant in the room, man. I forgot about him. How about Tyler Warren? You got to check my. That's a guy worth going up to get.
No,
what do you think?
No, they're not going to trade up. The Eagles are not going to trade up.
He's saying they're going to trade for like an all-pro D end.
Yeah,
I'm saying they're going to trade for all-pro D end. I don't know,
like a vet.
He's not signing 10 players in this draft, man.
First round and potentially a second round. Like you just give away like picks because you have that many.
Yeah,
Goddard and a few picks for somebody big.
Yeah, I mean, and the Goddard's been a solid tight end over the last 4 or 5 years. Not been like the top tight end. He's probably in the top 5 maybe, but he's been a solid tight end. And if the Eagles do keep their 32nd pick, they're I would imagine Tyler Warren, if he's there, that's who they're getting. Because I hope
you got to go up and get him.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to go up and get him.
He's not going to be there. You got to go up for that.
Yeah.
See, they're not going to trade up. They're not going to trade up for a pick. So
I think they are, man. You guys are not signing 10 people in this draft. You guys are not doing that.
Contract. If they're that. I mean, that doesn't make any sense because if they're all rookie contract, number one, we're not going to sign everyone we draft. That's just not. I mean, a lot of times that's not what happens. They get put on practice squads. I mean, the top picks, yes, but I don't know. I feel Howie has something up his sleeve that he's going to go trade for either a
Trust me,
DN
always.
receiver.
Does anybody have any last-minute bold predictions before we wrap up?
Mike's thinking. He's never going to guess.
No. Well, what part of what I'm thinking about is I'm going through all the teams and that might give up a D end, and I'm trying to find who you're going to trade for. But I guess I'll make the bold prediction: Shedeur Sanders makes it out of the teens.
When you say after the teens, like you mean
like he will not be picked until at least in the 20s.
2021. So the Steelers get him at 21 is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Jay,
he will fall that far.
Yeah, Tyler Warren drops to the Bengals and they average 45 points a game.
Oh Jesus! And can't play defense, but they can score.
Hey, let's go 45.
That team right there. Yeah. That team right there. That's the one, man. I think it's been about 4 years. They spent money on the O line and the D line, and you can't even tell where the money went.
Right.
These guys are bad in the trenches constantly. I mean, how you can't get this stuff straight? You evaluators can't find good talent on the O line and D line in 4 years.
Yeah, why don't get
that girl is going for like 5,000 yards a game. That's not duplicatable. His arm is going to be like a spaghetti noodle after a certain amount of time. You can't keep doing this to this man. He shouldn't have to throw this much, this long. That O-line is
trash.
They need to go O-line and D-line, and that's all. They need no tight end. Get O-line, D-line, the whole draft.
I agree with you, but I don't know if Jay's necessarily wrong because based on what they keep doing, they would be stupid enough to go do it. Remember when the Detroit Lions used to draft receivers every year, and we were like, okay, Charles Rogers, Mike
Raiders too.
Every year. The Bengals are basically that, and I was like, okay, you can score, but I mean, you got to make a stop eventually. Your quarterback's running for his life, so
that'd be nice.
I think my bold prediction, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I think the Chiefs are going to make a big trade. After being embarrassed in the Super Bowl, I can see the Chiefs making a big trade to try.
Yeah, for what?
I'm still fleshing it out, but I think they're going to make a big trade up to do something.
Right now, it's just they'll make some sort of splash.
Yeah, I think they're going to make some sort of
quarterback. They need quarterback help.
Yeah, no, they need it. They need a new quarterback
all the way.
The Chiefs are my sneaky teams to get Travion Henderson out of Ohio State, but I don't think that's the big splash. I think if he's sitting there,
but they do tend to do that in the second and third round. They pick like a random running back.
Yeah, I can see them doing that because the good thing with him is he also pass protects too, and you got a team that's going to pass. He actually likes to pass protect, and he's going to actually run the ball physically. So I could actually see that happen. But I think some other type of splash is going to happen. We're going to be like, oh, okay. The Chiefs had to do something after that embarrassment. So that's my bold prediction.
What if they get Micah Parsons?
I don't think that
is that an option?
I mean, it's Jerry Jones. You never know what is and is not an option.
That's not a draft.
Okay.
Mr. U, what about you? What's the splash? Everybody has no ideas.
Well, Mikey took mine, so I can't use that. I will say the exact same thing. The Sanders is going to fall into the 20s. That's what I think is going to happen with him. He's going to stay in the first round, but he's not going to be in the top 3 as projected. So I'll find somebody else then. I'm thinking this might not be a really bold prediction, but I think John T's going to be in the top 5.
Oh wow!
In this draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say
Ashton Johnson.
Ashton Jensen.
No, Jensen, running back.
Oh, sorry.
So you're saying that's why the Jaguars can't resist, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be the team.
Jags especially. I know they got ETN and stuff, but I just.
I know ETN took a huge step.
They just played 6 games a year last 2 years.
Yeah, and Big D has his injury issues as well. I kind of feel like they need to have somebody to help Lawrence because this is kind of like a big investment. Even though people are slamming Lawrence, this is a big investment. You got to make this thing work, or these guys that are coaching right now are going to get fired again.
Okay, so Tyler Warren's sitting there. Tyler Warren or Ashton Genty, the Cowboys have to take which one is immediate for them. This actually makes a difference right now.
They're going to take Warren probably.
And he's the
Warren's going to be the difference maker, but I think they need a running back.
If he's there, they're going to take Genty
over Warren.
Yes, they need a running back.
No, I think they would. I think they would take.
They're
Warren.
going to take Warren because
there's more other running backs I think are decent enough that they can still come back around the second round.
See, I think Jerry is going to do what Jerry seems to do a lot these days, which is make the right quote unquote make the decision a year too late. He weighted himself out of a starting running back last year.
The king, not a running back.
Well, yes, but I mean there was other options that he should have taken over running Rico Dowdle all year.
Yeah,
and Zeke.
I mean, Rico did pretty well for me in fantasy.
No, I mean Rico did great for me in fantasy too, but
he's
not Derrick Henry.
Once a year a game, so I was pretty cool with Rico.
Not Derrick Henry.
Right.
Who is though, right?
Saquon. But Mr. Year, in typical Cinco Squad fashion, we won't use the first word we say, guys, but we could say F the Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
1, 2, 3. F
the
Cowboys. Man, you continue to.
It's great that despite all the different fandoms that may clash at times, we can all agree on that one thing.
Yeah, we can.
Of course, we agree on that downfall every year.
Keep
doing what you're doing. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
It was great. You know what was even better is like when I was in there in Dallas last year when they were playing the Saints, and then Dallas fans, second game of the year, they're all like, "Oh, we're winning the Super Bowl, da da da," and it's just like touchdown, touchdown Saints, touchdown Saints, touchdown Saints, touchdown. I'm just like,
when it like 34-0 at halftime or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there smoking a cigar in the Aikman bar, having a beer, and I'm just laughing at them with my Eagles gear. I'm like,
Dallas.
Wow.
What happened?
How did they really escape the scrutiny? That's one thing. Maybe you guys hear it in your circles. In my circles, nobody's owning this.
You have Jerry who can't stop running his mouth, and everybody's lobs on his knob in Dallas. So it's ridiculous, man.
I've been married more than they've been successful since '96.
You build it.
I was married in the same month they had any kind of relevance. And that's it. It's been almost 30 years. Yes, and they haven't been able to do anything of any kind of relevance outside the regular season. How do they avoid getting scrutinized?
We should make like 30. Yo, we should make 30 Dallas merchandise, and I guarantee you all Giants and Eagles fans and old San Fran heads are gonna buy that.
Unite
30 with a big zero, like make the zero ginormous on the dirty 30 merchandise.
In the middle of the star.
In the middle of the star.
Yeah, put him over Dallas Star.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he built a fortress out there. I'm not gonna lie, that stadium was packed. I mean, it was that whole area. They built it up. Really well. That's
where the money's going.
It's like live there, Mr. U. That's like full of bars, big screen TV with like a bunch of monitors, so you can watch all these games. And the stadium was packed. I mean, there was 85,000 in there. I mean, there was 85,000.
That's what he cares about. Clearly, that's what Jerry cares about.
Yep. Money is money. Don't matter if you win or lose. I think he puts on a facade. Like as he's taking that.
I don't think he wants to win.
No,
after 30 years, you don't want to win.
He flies.
You don't want to win.
Well, so I was in the Uber, right, and I know we're over time, but I was in the Uber driving there, and a helicopter came flying over. I was like, what the heck is that? He goes, that's Jerry. He don't even drive. He flies in his helicopter.
You know, I would too if I had that type of money.
What a charm like
in the parking lot, and they have like a designated area in the parking lot where he lands, and it's Jerry's area, and he just walks in, and it's pretty wild. So I don't think he's hurting too much. I think it's all facade to just build up the fans, but as he's taking that check to the bank when they're buying his merch, he's having a good all the time.
Wait till the stadium takes off.
I saw his son at one of the bars too, and his son was all happy-go-lucky, but then looked miserable, and then happy-go-lucky again. I'm like, they don't care. No one.
You can watch him remember that he's rich.
Exactly.
No one cares about winning is like Steve Cohen.
They're all in. Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that
means. This was fun, man, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on here and doing this, man. This has been fun. You guys got big plans for Thursday night yourselves, man. Tell everybody about what you're doing.
Definitely make sure y'all tune in. We're gonna have a live draft so ourselves. Mr. U's having a live draft, so we're having one.
You're gonna all come and watch y'all. They gonna watch mine, but it's all good though.
It's all family. The draft drag. So just hop back and forth between the lives. Come visit Mr. U's. Then hop on our live show. Just go back and forth. It's like 3 hours. We need people to come in.
I hope it's 3 hours. You sure?
Maybe longer than that. You're right. So yeah, come in, lock in all of our socials, Cinco Squad Pod 05. Definitely make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe. We definitely do talk back and interact.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Any closing thoughts, Mike, John, Grandpa Jay?
Thank you, Mr. U. We appreciate you having us.
Definitely, thanks.
You guys awesome. Love you guys.
Thank you for having us on. And Giants, please don't screw this up
again. I'll be texting y'all. It's gonna be all right. But thanks for listening to T3 and the Cinco Squad's live draft preview. They're gonna be on Thursday nights. We'll be on live as well. Hopefully, we'll have a voice. I got my sprays ready because it might be a long night, baby. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for watching.